with Money in the Bank officially in the books, there is a lot to talk about from this year's show. So we're not going to waste any time at all. We are going to jump straight in to recapping this show. But quickly, before we get into the video, I want to say that if you are a WWE fan, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That's all we post is WWE related content. So if you're a WWE fan, again, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always change your mind later. So 2025's Money in the Bank show felt a little off, mainly because we went pretty much the entire time thinking that it was only going to be a 4-match card. And then that obviously changed at Worlds Collide when Dominic Mysterio challenged Octagon Jr. for the IC title at Money in the Bank. And real quickly, I need to give a massive shout out to Worlds Collide. That was a super fun show. Even if Conan on commentary almost put you to sleep, the show itself was actually very fun. And shout out Mr. Iguana. That dude should be in the Hall of Fame everywhere. So looking at the matches, we are going to start with the match that kicked off 2025's Money in the Bank. And that would be the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. A match that had a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement surrounding it given the amount of talent that was in this match. And right away, I loved the old school versus new school type of feeling that they tried to go for. When on one side you had the old school, the other side you had the new school, and they just started going at it. I thought that was a very cool way to start this match, kind of showing the evolution of WWE and showing the evolution of this women's division, which is just going to get even more insanely stacked. Now, in terms of memorable spots, there really wasn't a whole lot. We obviously got the Devil's Kiss on a ladder, which I'm sure Booker T absolutely loved every second of. We had Roxanne Perez and Julia burying Rhea Ripley with all of the ladders in the match, which I thought was a really interesting idea because it kind of showed how unstoppable Rhea felt in this match. And as you guys know, I picked Rhea Ripley to win this year's Money in the Bank. And I even said that I didn't want her to win. But them managing to bury her with all the ladders, taking her out of the match for quite some time as she's just chilling there underneath the ladders, I thought it was a great way to just show how unstoppable of a feeling she had in this match. I thought the dueling code reds between Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez on the ladders were very good. I thought it was a good spot. The only thing is it just took so long to set up that the payoff didn't really seem worth it. And that kind of felt like the entire show. It just felt kind of clunky and slow at some points. And the timing overall just felt really off. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I could have done better. I thought the match was fine. I just thought it could have been a lot better given the amount of talent that was in the match. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about the young talent that was in the match. We talked about the new school versus the old school, and I thought the new school, being Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Valquer, I thought they seemingly had a tougher time throughout the course of the match. And it would make sense because with them being so new to the WWE roster and the WWE system, this may be their first match like a Money in the Bank ladder match. And I do think that there are differences between a Money in the Bank ladder match and just a straight up ladder match. Because I feel like the energy and the anticipation in a Money in the Bank ladder match is significantly higher than just a straight up ladder match. Now, I did have Naomi as a runner-up in this year's Money in the Bank ladder match. She ended up winning it, and I'm very happy that she won it because I thought it made the most sense. Because now, she can go off and do whatever she wants. I think it's a good way to either keep her in the feud with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, or I think it's a good way to get her out of that feud. So I'm very happy for Naomi that she finally got this moment, and she deserves it because the heel Naomi and the caution tape, it's all working for her right now, and she's becoming a very popular superstar once again. So the match itself, again, it was a fine match. It just felt really slow, kind of clunky. The timing was really off, left a lot to be desired given the amount of talent that was in the match. But that doesn't take away from Naomi winning at all. So congratulations to Naomi for winning the 2025 Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That takes us to the IC title match between Dominic Mysterio and Octagon Jr., a match that wasn't even on the card until earlier that Saturday at Worlds Collide. And I thought the match was okay. I thought it was good. It felt really, really quick, which makes sense because, again, it was added really, really last minute. But I thought Octagon Jr. looked really, really good considering he had a match earlier that day. I thought he looked really, really good against Dom. So as we continue to navigate through this wild and wacky new era of pro wrestling that we're in, I thought it was a really, really good showing from Octagon Jr. And one thing that I wanted to talk about was the Dirty Dom chants returning. It's really hard to tell if Dominic Mysterio is still a bad guy because at Worlds Collide, it was very obvious that he was the bad guy, but at Money in the Bank, people wanted to see Dom win. Now, that obviously would make a lot of sense because at Worlds Collide, Dominic Mysterio is the outsider, and given everything that he has said about his father and all that stuff, it makes sense that Dom is the bad guy at Worlds Collide, but the good guy at Money in the Bank. So, I'm very curious to see how all of this unfolds now, and especially with Roxanne Perez in the mix, with Judgment Day, and the ever looming Finn Balor turn or whatever we're going to get between those two. I'm excited for Dominic Mysterio, and I'm excited to see what happens next with the Judgment Day, which is something that I've not been able to say in a very long time. So again, Dominic Mysterio defeats Octagon Jr. and retains his IC title. From one IC title match to the women's IC title match between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. And I loved the start from the get-go between these two. Not even wanting to wait for the ring bell to officially start this match, they just went right at it. And throughout the course of the match, you can just see just how damn good these two work together. The chemistry is off the charts, and I'm really, really happy that Becky Lynch ended up winning. Even though I did have Lyra Valkyria winning, I'm really happy that Becky won because that most likely means we're going to get more between these two. And these two seriously just have that fight forever feel with them. One thing that I actually kind of enjoyed was the whole close countout situations. Because that is one way that a WWE fan does not want to see a championship match on a PLE end. So I liked the fact that they kind of made all the fans feel like they were really going to do a count out finish, only for them to roll into the ring at the count of 9. I thought that added some drama to the match, even though it didn't really need it because, again, the storytelling between the two and the chemistry, so damn good. So Becky Lynch wins, hopefully we get more, and who knows, we may even get some surprises along the way now that Becky is champion again. That takes us to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which in my opinion probably should have main evented the show because it was that damn good. This was honestly one of the best Money in the Bank ladder matches from the men's side that we've gotten in quite some time. Which is kind of odd because in past PLEs where we have the concept of a men's and women's matches, the women's matches have been better than the men's. It's been that way for the Royal Rumble. It was like that for last year's Money in the Bank, where the women's match was so unbelievably good, and the men's left a lot to be desired. This year was a complete 180 from what we got last year, and the men's Money in the Bank ladder match absolutely tore the house down. And one thing that I loved throughout the course of this match was the emphasis on every guy in the match getting their moment in the spotlight. And one guy that I really want to highlight from this match is Solo Sikoa. While I didn't really think we were going to see Solo win, I'm loving this comedic version of Solo Sikoa that we're getting because he is freaking hilarious. Everything that he was doing was just so damn funny, which is honestly a breath of fresh air because Solo just felt super stale as of late. But with the comedy aspect of Solo that he's doing right now, he's starting to get more and more popular and it's starting to work on fans. And I like the fact that we got a mini match within the match between Solo and Seth. I thought that was a nice way to kind of change the pace a little bit in the match and kind of slow things down before they built back up to the rest of the craziness that took place. One of those crazy things that took place was Penta and Andrade's spot when Penta performed the Mexican Destroyer on the ladder. That looked absolutely brutal as hell, and an incredible sell from Andrade. And I said in my preview video that Andrade really felt like the outlier in this match, but given what we got from Andrade and him just giving us all these ridiculous spots, I'm really glad he was in the match because he added a lot to it. Even though everyone really knew that he had pretty much zero chance of winning, I thought he was really good in the match. And then things went off the rails quickly when we got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed doing their thing. I thought they looked absolutely fantastic, and that was something that I mentioned in my preview video as well. If Seth was going to win, I wanted him to do it in a way that elevated Braun and Bronson. And again, I thought they looked absolutely fantastic. And then Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo joined the mix, and we got the long-awaited turn from Jacob Fatu on Solo Sikoa, claiming that he no longer loves Solo Sikoa, he hates him. This match was everything you could ever want in a Money in the Bank ladder match. It was pure chaos from beginning to end. And you had everything that made a Money in the Bank ladder match great. You had the close calls with guys having a hold of the briefcase but not being able to get it done. You had the insane spots with the ladders, which I thought was something that lacked severely from the women's match. Look, was it overbooked as hell? Absolutely it was. But I thought it all worked because we finally get the start of Solo versus Jacob. We have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed coming in and looking like $1,000,000. So I thought it all just really worked together and it all flowed very nicely. It didn't really feel slow like the women's match did. And I had Seth Rollins winning because I just felt like it was kind of the obvious choice. While I wanted to see LA Knight win, he was so close once again, but ultimately Seth Rollins picks up the win, and this makes him a legitimate threat to both championships right now. Again, I didn't necessarily want to see Seth Rollins win, but at the end of the day, it was kind of the obvious pick, and I guess it does make the most sense. And that takes us to the main event of this year's Money in the Bank PLE, John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And from the very beginning of this match, it felt like it was a complete waste to have this match as the main event because for the large portion of this match, it was a straight WWE tag team match. Now, one thing that I did notice was they let John Cena and Logan Paul beat the absolute hell out of Jey Uso, and they really saved Cody Rhodes for that hot tag. But because of that, the majority of this match was Jey Uso getting his ass beat. Then the match started to pick up, and for me, what really felt like a turning point in the match where things really started to pick up was the drone shot with Logan Paul off the top rope and all of that. That was awesome. And speaking of Logan Paul, I thought Logan Paul looked great in this match. The table spot that he did was incredible. He got so much air on that he almost missed Jey Uso in the table completely. And look, I know that Logan Paul gets a lot of hate among the WWE universe, but if he manages to do this almost every match he gets, I don't understand why you think he doesn't belong in the WWE. It's very clear that he has put the time in to work on this stuff. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it in a match like this. So I thought Logan Paul looked great. I thought the drone shot with him was awesome looking and kind of giving a POV view, which is something we don't really get to see in the WWE. And then as the match started to pick up more and more and more, and they started building and building and building, and we got the moment with John Cena and Cody Rhodes in the ring. John Cena's holding the title. It looks like he's going to hit him with the title like he has done time and time again in this heel run, only to have R-Truth return. Going under the name Ron Killings, he's back. He comes in, attacks John Cena, and for a second when I saw him run off into the crowd, I thought he took the title with him, but I didn't quite realize that he threw it before he jumped over the barricade, but I thought he took the title and I was all here for it. But that doesn't change the fact that Ron Killings is back. And regardless of what you see online, let this be a lesson to us all. We made this happen. WWE made the mistake. They realized they made the mistake when everything that they got since the news broke was bring back R-Truth. We want R-Truth. The We Want Truth movement was very, very reminiscent to the We Want Cody movement, and I would argue that this one was bigger. Because from the time the news broke about R-Truth not having his contract renewed by WWE, every single social media post, every video that they posted on YouTube, everything, it was We Want Truth. If you watched Worlds Collide on YouTube, that was the entire chat, was nothing but We Want Truth. So the WWE fans, you should feel proud of yourselves because we made this happen. This was not done by WWE because they want to feel like it was their idea. They realized that they made a big, big, big mistake. So you can read whatever you want online. You could go in believing that it was a work, you could believe it was a shoot. But for me, I call a spade a spade. The WWE Universe made this happen, and we should feel damn proud that we got this man his job back. So Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso end up picking the win with some help from Ron Killings, and that is it for Money in the Bank 2025. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Money in the Bank this year? Did it live up to your expectations? Did it not live up to your expectations? Let me know why you liked it. Let me know why you didn't like it. For me, I thought it was a pretty decent show. I thought the first match, again, was a fine match, just really, really slow, clunky, timing issues, everything. That match could have been a lot better than what it was. The IC title match between Dom and Octagon Jr., again, was quick, but for something that was added last minute, I was pretty okay with it. I thought Octagon Jr. looked good. I thought Dom looked good. The women's IC title match I thought was very, very good. Again, Becky winning continues that feud, which I'm all for because these two can literally fight forever. The men's Money in the Bank match was absolutely incredible. One of the best men's Money in the Bank ladder matches we've seen. And then the main event for what felt like it was a standard tag team match for the longest time, and the majority of the match just being Jey Uso getting beat up. I thought to start the match was okay. They really, really, really built up that Cody Rhodes hot tag. I thought there were some awesome moments with Logan Paul and the drone shot and the table spot that he did. And then to wrap a nice bow on it, we have Ron Killings back in the WWE. So let me know your thoughts and opinion on the show down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That is the only link in bio for a reason, and that is because it'll take you to all of the social medias for this channel. And I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. And above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if you are like me and you're looking for a group of wrestling fans to talk about wrestling with, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. With all that said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free and both really help out the channel a lot. And as always, if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here. And as always, stay tuned for more WWE content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.